Good evening. For today, we will be discussing about the syllabus topic of cropping pattern, agricultural productivity, agricultural intensity, crop diversification, and land capability classification. Within that, we do have three questions to discuss. Right? Question number one is compulsory. That's what we discussed. Either of the two questions in two or three. Question number one: examine the ongoing process of agricultural diversification and its implication on food security in India. Right. So two things have been required. One, you will have to connect ongoing process of agricultural diversification to the food security process alone. Right. So write the definition of agricultural diversification and then go on. It's a 20-mark questions. So your introduction can be for half a page or slightly more than half a page of the first sheet. Right. So you can write about the agricultural diversification and you can give a scenario of agricultural diversification saying that the crops which are less remunerative in manner, farmers are shifting to more remunerative crops, or crops which are more risk oriented of failures or less profit, farmers are moving to crops which are less risky or to other forms of employment opportunities. Government policies, government programs have been adding towards agricultural diversification. And there are also impacts of climate change, where the climate change, we have been moving towards climate resilient agriculture. Comparing with respect to the cereal crops and horticultural crops are more, trees are more resilient towards climate change, right? So you can give a scenario of it. After that, you go on with respect to the ongoing process. So the first ongoing process we do have is the scheme by the government of India under RKVY, Crop Diversification Program, CDP, which has two objectives. One is to the Green Revolution states, original Green Revolution states has been largely with paddy, wheat cropping pattern has been there. We wanted to divert that to other alternative crops. So you can draw a map alongside as a parallel side and then show with respect to Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh region, pockets of lands of Krishna Godavari Delta, Mahanadi Delta, Kaveri Delta, all these delta regions and say that has to be changed. Then encourage the tobacco farmers to shift to alternate cropping patterns. Show Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, and the regions around which has been tobacco cultivation has been taking place. How it has to be shifted. This is the idea of respect. This is crop diversification. Whereas the next factors. Within the next factors, the three factors which has been marked with respect to red color star indication. Promotion of high value crop, which comes in national horticultural missions. High value crops of vegetables, fruits, horticultural ones, medicinal plants, plantations has been largely grown. Livestock development, especially with respect to dairy, milk production, and the other forms of association. Fisheries development. These three, if you have taken into the cropping area or the share of GDP with respect to agriculture and allied activities, in the recent 2 decades, horticultural, livestock and dairy, and fisheries, their contribution has been increased, whereas the contributions of cereals, pulses, oil seeds has been reduced. This is what we are seeing, the ongoing diversification, right? Apart from this, organic farming is also being done to diversify agriculture. There are also non-farm activities which come in agricultural diversification, food processing industry, rural tourism, art will be there, handicrafts will be there, some form of cottage-based food processing industries will be there. Other than that, something associated with respect to apiculture, sericulture, mushroom cultivation, all this will be present with respect to it. This ongoing diversification. And you want to speak with respect to the diversifications, you can draw a map very simply. This is something which is not hard to draw a map with respect to it. If you look into the areas where the rivers have been largely present, no, you do have a high amount of monocropping is being taking place or die cropping is being taking place. Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, West Bengal regions, deltas of Mahanadi, regions of rivers in areas of Jharkhand regions, all and then deltas present with respect to the eastern coast of India. All these places, the amount of diversification is low. Monocropping and die cropping has been taking place. That has been largely done with respect to either it is rice wheat or it is rice sugarcane or wheat sugarcane that has been done. The blue dots indicate the areas which has high amount of diversification. Very clearly, you will be able to see these regions are areas, for example, Gujarat, Rajasthan, Western and Northern Madhya Pradesh, Eastern Maharashtra, Northern Karnataka, Telangana regions, Tamil Nadu areas, all these pockets of land has high amount of diversification because these are dry regions. You do have Deccan Plateau, rain shadow regions of Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Telangana, parts of Andhra Pradesh, Eastern Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, Rajasthan, all these dry land regions. So farmers will not be able to do with respect to one particular cropping pattern of rice or wheat, rather multiple cropping pattern, pulses, oil seeds, millets, multiple varieties have been done. You look into Kerala part and the coastal parts of Karnataka, though the rainfall is high, the reason having with respect to multiple diversification is because of plantation crops, horticultural crops. This will say the ecosystem has been there. So you can speak about the geography along with the map, right? So this will be there. And also low, medium areas has been present in the pockets of not in the Konkan coast of Maharashtra, but slightly interior, not in the eastern Maharashtra regions, pockets of lands of Telangana, Chhattisgarh and Odisha regions, Assam, Meghalaya regions, pockets of Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand regions. Whereas the pockets of lands of Leh Ladakh regions, Jammu and Kashmir regions, northwestern Rajasthan areas of Thar Desert, Arunachal Pradesh, and the hilly states of Sikkim, Naga, Manipur regions. Because of the hilly terrains, the amount of cropping pattern and the diversification is extremely low with respect to it, right? And it speaks about the food security, and we have also discussed with respect to the definitions of food security and the process of food security. But the question is slightly different. So you'll have to answer to the question that has been asked, right? So number one, with respect to food security, you will be able to speak about, as there is a large amount of horticultural crop has been increasing, there will be a high amount of nutrient security will be there. There's a large number of small, marginal and woman-led farmers will be there. Now they produce the crops, so there will be a balanced diet for the community will be there. Food processing industry comes into the picture. Because of the food processing industries, there is also a shelf life of the crop has been largely increased, and also the crops which has been now not available for a long distance travel trading purposes is now available with respect to it, so it ensures the food security. We already discussed why it has been taking place, less remunerative to more remunerative, so which means income to the farmers has been increasing. So it will be able to address one kind of the famine that has been passing within the famine, which is money famine. That if I have money, now I do have a large amount of income, so I will be able to buy produces of multiple fruits, vegetables, egg, dairy, all those to ensure the food security and nutrition security. It also reduces the risk of crop failure due to diversified cropping pattern, right? But at the same time, there is also a negative factor will be available because they asked you to analyze with respect to it. Number one, diversification, what we have seen across the country is being done in the favor of non-food crops in most of the states. Because those non-food crops of horticulture, dairy, and fisheries, and also the cottage industries or sericulture, mushroom, has been highly remunerative in manner, so farmers are moving towards it. One. Second, this, if it continues to a greater extent, maybe 10 years or 15 years, then you can raise a question of what will happen to the demand and supply of rice and wheat, which is considered to be the stable cereal crops, and with increasing populations, right? Also, before you conclude, you can also speak about food security is not about production and diversification alone. Food security requires poverty alleviation. Food security requires access to the resources and availability, sustainability of the resources, quality of the resources to ensure nutritional security, storage infrastructure, and better delivery of services. Here, everywhere you will be able to give a picture of it. For example, poverty alleviation, if you are able to go on, draw a map and share that poverty regions of tribal regions, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Odisha, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, Jharkhand regions, Rajasthan areas. There's a high amount of poverty. Within the urban regions, you can speak about slum areas of Dharavi, Ward, Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai regions, Bangalore regions. So you can give any way of it, or take a particular state map, and then within the state map, you can give particular orientation. How Maharashtra, Eastern Maharashtra, especially Marathwada region has a high amount of poverty, how elevations will ensure with respect to the food security in the regions. So any map that will be there, don't write only the line, right? Draw maps, analyze geography towards it, right? Sustainability of resources, you'll have to speak about throughout the supply has to be there. Quality of the resources in terms of nutritional security has to be matched here. Storage infrastructure and better delivery of services, you can speak about PDS, targeted to public distribution systems, government schemes can be included, and then you can speak about how it has been working, right? And to conclude, right, you will be able to conclude by saying on, if this is being ensured, then we will be able to bring in with respect to diversification. For example, on top of my mind, diversification is mandatory because we have been largely with respect to rice and wheat farming system has been available, whereas we have been having an excess stock of rice and wheat in the food corporations, central warehousing corporations on the godowns, which is also a problem towards the government of India and the states. Whereas diversification will not take away that particular problem, will also ensure farmers' income, reduce the risk, doubling the farmers' income, and also reducing the regional inequality and the poverty in the regions. Right. Moving on to the question number 2. Define agricultural intensity and bring out its regional distribution in India. Right. It's a very straightforward questions, so I'm not going much into it. Right. Write the definition, 10-mark question also. Write the definition of what is agricultural intensity, and then speak with respect to the factors influencing precipitation, how it has been influencing with respect to agricultural intensity, climate, soil type, irrigation facility, technology, government schemes, economic factors. Draw a map of India. Show the overall picture of agricultural intensity, small map, not a big map, right? Very small map. show a map of India and show that how agricultural intensity is being, regional distribution is being taking place. For example, Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar regions, parts of your central Chhattisgarh, eastern Odisha, Krishna Godavari deltas, Kaveri Delta, Narmada riverbank regions, Chambal riverbank regions, West Bengal areas, Assam regions, Tripura regions. This region, high amount of intensity is being there. Slightly in the map, show the other areas where low intensity is being available. This is overall map for India. After that, take the factors. 7 factors are mentioned. No, you can write more factors also. I just wrote what comes in my mind, right? Take a factor and speak about it. Now, for precipitation, that I'm writing, I will take Karnataka into consideration. For Karnataka, coastal Karnataka and southern Karnataka, because having a high amount of monsoon and precipitation, more water availability is there. Throughout their employment is available. So, irrigation intensity is high. Northern Karnataka and interiors of Deccan Plateau, where the rain shadow regions, so the amount of rainfall is less. Also, the amount of agriculture is also being less in the areas where dobe is not available, rivers are not flowing. Will be able to speak with respect to. Or take Maharashtra and give it that example with respect to climate, tropical climate, temperate climate. So you can compare with respect to one state from tropical climate and Leh Ladakh region and can speak with respect to agriculture intensity high in the tropical regions where other factors are fulfilling, whereas Leh Ladakh regions are northwestern part of Rajasthan where agriculture intensity is less because of the climatic conditions of temperature, the snowfall, all those factors. Soil type can be taken, compare again with respect to areas of alluvial regions and also to the areas of where non-alluvial soils are available, where agriculture cannot be done with respect to it. If you compare Ladakh and one state, now you can compare with respect to northwestern part of Rajasthan and say Punjab regions. So very nearby, more or less comfortable, similar latitudes and all those things, but because of the soil type, it has been varying. Irrigation facilities may take with respect to Haryana. Rainfall availability in the region is less, but because of the river systems and canal irrigation that has been present with respect to it, where we will be able to do with respect to it. Also, for one more example, you can take, for example, say northern Telangana or northern Karnataka or northern Tamil Nadu and say the drip irrigation is largely growing with respect to the regions, because of which it has been done. Intensity has been increasing. Borewell irrigation is done in Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh region, so agriculture has been done. Side by side, one map, 2 lines, write only the framework, draw a state map, and give incomes. Government schemes, how it has been bringing with respect to interlinking of rivers. You can speak with respect to economic factors, shift in the crop from jowar, bajra to high intense crops provided with respect to irrigation facilities. It can be written for even 20 marks questions. Third, discuss with the methods of crop residue management in rural India to reduce pollution. See, they asked very simply with respect to method of crop residue management in rural part of India, right? And especially to reduce pollution, not to speak about any other factors, right? So, right, what is crop residue? Crop residue is nothing but non-economic part of the crop. For example, straws or stubbles of paddy and wheat, or if you are doing a crop processing, for example, groundnut is being taken, the shells of the groundnut is of no use in terms of large economic use, so that will be a crop residue, right? And Ministry of Non and Renewable Energy has been discussing in 2014, gave a report saying that 500 million tons of crop residue is produced every year, right? Now, in the last 8 years, this would have been largely increased also, right? We have also been saying that in the recent time period, there is a large amount of crop residue is being done, right? That is because the labor availability has been largely reduced. There has been a high amount of labor availability is largely reduced. There has been a high amount of mechanization has been done for harvesting of the crops. Cost of the removal and of processing is also been largely increased. So we do see, especially in 4 major states of Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, West Bengal, Punjab, and Haryana regions, as Maharashtra also has a large amount of crop residues, right? So you can speak with respect to the geographical distribution where high residue has been present. And now speak with respect to agriculture, with respect to cereals, within that rice and wheat is largely followed by sugarcane has been present in the regions, fiber and oil seeds have been present with respect to it, right? So following by it, you will be able to speak about the methods, very basic methods. Most of the methods you would have studied in NCERT itself. So write the methods, but don't list the methods. Write the methods in geographical context. For example, if you're going to speak about the soil mulching, take certain states like Telangana regions and northern Karnataka or any dry state regions and say that the amount of water availability in the region will be less. The amount of fertility of the soil is also less. Soil mulching will be able to do 2 factors. that we'll be able to speak with respect to it, right? Livestock feed, you can speak with respect to any of the dry regions, biocompost manure, biogas energy, all those can be discussed with respect to each and every state. But as the question has been largely asked with respect to one particular factor, right, which is reducing the pollution, reducing the pollution. So if I'm writing, my answer will be largely concentrated with respect to NCR regions and the regions. Presently, it is in Mumbai regions. So I will be concentrating with respect to the air pollution high regions, which is nearby, right? So I will be writing with respect to giving specific examples of Punjab, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, West Bengal regions, parts of Rajasthan areas, Haryana, all these will be given with respect to it. Right? We already discussed why farm burning has been increasing in the recent time periods, right? And there are also government measures has been taken. Crop residue management scheme has been started by Government of India in 2018 and 19. It's a central government scheme, centrally sponsored scheme. Then we do a comprehensive action plan, which has been asked by the Government of India to the state governments to take that, especially at the micro level. And there is also a joint monitoring team has been created by the Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Ministry of Power, with the state governments to monitor the stubble burning in the regions surrounding NCR regions and also to monitor the air quality. The Pusa campus, Agriculture University institution in Delhi, the Pusa campus, has come up with a decomposer in 2021. It's called a Pusa decomposer, which uses fungal species to decompose the paddy stubbles. So it becomes again easier. And the government has also been, both the governments, union government through state governments, has been providing with respect to farm machineries and equipment to control stubble burning at the in-situ levels, right, in Punjab, Haryana, and Uttar Pradesh regions. So you can also speak about how agricultural mechanization is being taking place with the in-situ management of crop residue, right? So this is again a 10 marks. So you picture it with few diagrams, 2 diagrams more than sufficient with respect to it, right? And to conclude, you can speak about apart from this, we also do require capacity building, awareness creation, technological intervention, conservation practices, financial incentives, and legal practices. So all this put it across for a 10 mark. No, you don't have to write larger conclusions. Use these words, which is a requirement to crop residue management. It will give a holistic information if by any chance you have missed any of the points, right? So always remember, concluding part, you can give very promising and also something like this as an example. So this will be overall coverage. If by any chance if there is a key available with the UPSC, and if they feel that you have missed one of the point in the conclusion, you would have addressed it, right? So as an evaluator, there will be a thought that not to reduce marks. And the questions for tomorrow, which is a part of the syllabus, is agroforestry, social forestry, green revolution, and white revolution, where 2 questions has been picked, both at 15 marks. Discuss the scope of replication of white revolution in India. Second question is, in spite of various negative impacts of green revolution, there is a demand of new green revolution. Discuss. And for the first 3 days, we had this breaking of questions and also has been given an orientation. I hope you had an idea of it. I just want you to try it out and then bring that idea how it works on, right? Thank you.